going on, friends? With new Harley-Davidsons becoming more technologically advanced, more computers, more systems in there, we're not really thinking about the future right now as far as used motorcycles. Well, these new bikes are eventually going to be the used market. And what we need to start thinking about now is how are we going to fix these bikes in the future? Because as we talked about in the previous videos, manufacturers love nothing more than continued revenue streams. And we've already seen this with Harley-Davidson, where you buy an accessory, you still have to go to the dealer to have it flashed and basically activated and able to be used on the motorcycle. Now we've also seen it with Harley-Davidson dipping into their own used market and trying to make some money off their own used bikes, as that's their biggest worst enemy. So eventually, these new bikes are going to be tomorrow's used bikes, and what's Harley going to do to try to get more money out of you, even on a used motorcycle? Truth is, at some point, no matter what motorcycle you ride, what brand you buy, eventually that motorcycle is going to need service or even a major repair. Now, in addition to the mechanical repairs that are going to need to be done, all these electronics on there, eventually the electronics are going to need service. Now, the scary part with software, electronics, computers, all these things that are going into the motorcycles these days is that basically not everybody has feasible access to them. With all the electronics going into today's Harleys, we're going to run into some issues down the road when these start to break down. Now, as we mentioned, every manufacturer is looking for continued revenue streams after the sale. Well, this is where this can get a little hairy. There's a lot of gray area there, and it is illegal, but they're finding ways to skirt this. What I'm talking about here is proprietary software, meaning that the manufacturer basically only has access to it. They're the only ones that can provide you with the software and the tools, but technically that is illegal for them to do that, and they have to make all of that software, all the tools, everything necessary available to you or to a privately owned shop to be able to service and work on their own machines. But the scary part about this is there's a lot of gray area there, and they are definitely exploiting it, and it's not just Harley-Davidson that I can see doing this. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now guys, manufacturers, they don't want you playing with their software. They don't want you playing with their ECMs. They want nothing more than for you to have to come back to a dealership every time you have an issue. Now I mentioned that is illegal. It is, but they're really skirting this. Yes, the tools are available. You can buy them. They're available to you or a local shop or anybody who wants to buy them, but they make them ridiculously expensive. And not only are they ridiculously expensive, you might be able to find a third-party aftermarket tool that will basically do everything that the Harley-Davidson tool would do, but here's the kicker. It's hard to get the software. Where do you get the software? Harley-Davidson is not just going to turn that software over to you. That's why if you buy a new digital dash or speedometer or something from Harley-Davidson, you can install it on your bike, but it won't work. You still have to go to the dealer, and they have to basically do an ECM flash to activate and make that part work. I don't know anybody else on earth that's able to do that other than a dealership. Now, how that is not illegal under right to repair completely blows my mind. But at least with right to repair, that is one way the government is actually kind of looking out for us here by not allowing companies to have total control over their machines, meaning that you can't take your motorcycle anywhere or even work on it yourself. Well, we are able to work on them ourselves. We are able to take them anywhere, but with computers and software and all the different things going into these motorcycles today, that's going to get a little harder to do, especially if they really start skirting that system where you still have to make a dealer trip for certain things when it comes to software, downloads, flashes, all that kind of stuff, if you were to ever have an issue with the electronics in the bike. But with the amount of electronics in new motorcycles, it's more than likely going to happen than not. Take John Deere, for example. John Deere basically locked down all of their farm equipment. Now, I don't know about you, but I think farmers were probably the last group any corporation really wanted to mess with. Those are some of the most independent people on this planet. If there's a way around it, they will figure it out. So basically what John Deere did is they turned basically farmers into coders. They had to go in and learn how to crack the computer software, get in there, just so they could make simple repairs on their own equipment. And guys, I'm telling you right now, that is not too far-fetched when it comes to motorcycles, especially with all the electronics that they're getting into them today. If you hop in a new John Deere tractor, guys, there's no more analog gadgets. It's all touchscreen. You can start them with your thumbprint now. It's crazy. Now, don't get me wrong, that is coming to Harley-Davidson motorcycles in the future. As I mentioned, motorcycles are always about 10-15 years behind any other industry. But make no mistake, it'll be here before we know it. So guys, right to repair is extremely important, especially with bikes getting more electronic. It's not like the old days anymore where anybody with a basic toolbox could work on their motorcycle. There's going to be a lot more electronics and software, more tools that we have to buy, and you can bet at every turn, every corporation out there, not just Harley-Davidson, they're going to try and make it as hard as possible for you to do your own work on your motorcycle, to maintain it and to repair it. Now, I don't know what you guys' experiences with warranty were when it come to your Harley-Davidson motorcycle, but warranty is only as good as the paper that it's printed on. A lot of times, dealers might try to allude to that you have to bring your motorcycle into the dealer, you have to use Screamin' Eagle oil, Screamin' Eagle this and that to maintain your motorcycle, or else your warranty is void. Well, that's illegal too, Mangus and Ferguson Act, which basically states that if they're going to do that, they're going to require you to come to the dealership and they're going to require you to use a certain product to maintain your warranty. Well, they have to provide it to you for free. Now, nobody actually states that, but a lot of times they will try to allude to that just to get you to come back to the dealer for your services and oil changes. They push that really, really hard. Just like if you were to go out and tune your motorcycle while it's under warranty. Technically, you had to buy the Screamin' Eagle tuner. If you went out and you used a Vance & Hines or you used a Power Vision, you would end up voiding the warranty by flashing with those. But the new tuners, they're more in line with what the Screamin' Eagle tuner is, so you can actually tune your motorcycle with those and not have a warranty issue. But warranties and what you can and can't do and what's affected, that is a whole other video, because they don't really want you going out, putting on an aftermarket big bore kit. That thing eats a ring, scuffs the pistons, tears up the cylinders, and then you bring it back to Harley-Davidson expecting them to fix it when you went out and did that on your own from a third party. Yeah, that's a whole other video and a whole other rabbit hole when it comes to warranties. But right to repair is kind of along the same lines. There's a lot of gray area there. And guys, I'm telling you, things are looking pretty bleak if you like to do your own work on your bike, especially when these newer bikes start falling into the used market. They're out of warranty. And when something breaks with those high-dollar electronics, that's going to be on you. Not only getting the parts, but also getting them fitted to the bike, that's the easy part. The hard part is going to actually be getting the electronics to communicate with the motorcycle's ECM and everything to work properly, and the only way to do that is through a software flash. Now, I have no doubts the aftermarket's going to step up, but there may be kind of a dry desert landscape of options for a little while until the aftermarket catches up and we can get this whole problem solved. But my biggest fear is that the tools to do it are going to be extremely expensive, and this is how they're skirting it, by making everything so expensive that a home mechanic doesn't want to go out and spend $2,000 on a tool that he's only going to use one time, maybe twice, throughout his whole ownership of the bike, and that's how they get you back in the dealer. Well, you could spend that money, or you could just come to us and spend a couple $100 for 5 minutes worth of work, and you're back on your way. Now, I know this is a scary precedent, but guys, we got a little time. We just got to watch the aftermarket and see what happens, because I don't know about you guys, I love doing my own work. I love working on other people's bikes, but we cannot let the technology beat us. We got to stay vigilant. We got to make sure that we keep up on everything and we're able to maintain our bikes and do everything ourselves like we have for years and years and years. But yeah, guys, I want your opinion in the comments on this one. What do you think of right to work and having that right to be able to work on your own motorcycle versus having to go to the dealer and them actually having the power to force you to do that if we're not really careful? Let me know in the comments. But anyhow, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars, and I'll catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.